Okay, so it seems like there's been a pretty interesting development with a lot of the kind of VShojo stuff that's been going on lately. And this one is to do with Matara. Now, Matara has recently been talking about a lot of future kind of plans and things and projects and explaining why she's been super busy lately with a lot of different things, which is great to see. And obviously, I'm glad that she's doing so well in the indie kind of space. And obviously, as you guys know, she was a part of VShojo and has been doing a lot to kind of help out a lot of the VShojo members and kind of giving us some information on what is actually going on. And well, it seems like there's actually some people that were interested in investing in some of the kind of VTuber talent that was coming out of VShojo to create their own kind of group, you know? And it is very interesting to see as Matara actually goes on to explain it in this clip right here. And yeah, let's just get into the clip and then obviously we'll talk about it.
Busy in the last little bit too is actually when it came to some of my ideas, I've had a lot of people offer help and I've had a lot of people offer investment. Okay. This is why I also had to kind of take a little bit of time off to prepare for how to do an investment pitch, to prepare for how to explain what I'm building. And as I kind of went around and kind of got a little bit of the runaround by a few investors, a quick TLDR, most investors that offered me money wanted a portion of what I'm working on, which of course, there's no free cheese unless it's a mousetrap. But most importantly, a lot of them wanted me to just build them a VShojo with my connections, which I need you all to understand would fuck me over twice. Because then if the place has me build VShojo, let's say it's like company X, right? Company XYZ wants me to build a VShojo under them. If the talent are upset, they're upset at me. If company XYZ is upset, they're upset at me. So I'm basically getting double, sorry for my language, fucked. And then I kind of realized, like, even though, and to be clear, by the way, when I say investment, I wasn't looking, I don't need millions. I don't even need much things, but it would have been nice to maybe had gotten covered some alleged things that maybe are owed, right? That are very high up there. But then I realized it's just not worth it. It's just really, really not worth it. I can just start small. I can move at my pace. I really, really should not be like just kind of realizing that a lot of times people do want to help, but everybody wants to help themselves first. And I simply do not want to let go of control of things anymore. I think I need to keep control of things for as long as I can and not really hand them off. But yeah, so that was another reason why I had been a little bit busy is after going, you know, and meeting with a few people and people hearing some of the stuff I'm building, pretty much everybody was like, you should meet with my investor. You should meet with this person. They can help you. They could do this. They, you know, oh, you can be set up with like this amount of money and you can do these things. And then I realized like, no, I can just do these things myself. I can just do.
So yeah, obviously that was the little part that she talked about the kind of VShojo group, right? And obviously it's interesting. So obviously it seems that Matara is working on a big project right now and is looking for investors to kind of invest in it and, you know, put some money in it. But obviously she's now realized that, hey, maybe it is better to kind of just try and self-fund it and do whatever she can on her own. Because again, a lot of investors try to take advantage of a lot of situations. For example, obviously, as she said, you know, they would be taking a portion of the actual kind of project money and things like that, which obviously is to be expected. But also she mentions the fact that they wanted to invest in a VShojo-like group, which obviously would not be that great. I think honestly, Matara did the right thing in terms of, you know, kind of not really wanting to do that, because again, there's multiple reasons as to why it will probably be a pretty bad idea. Obviously, the first one she mentioned was the fact that, yeah, Matara would be in the middle of all of this. If something goes wrong with the investors, it's Matara's fault. If something goes wrong with the talent, it's also Matara's fault. Obviously, she doesn't want to be in that kind of position, and so again, it's probably the best that she didn't actually do that. And obviously, I'm glad, you know, she obviously thought about that. But obviously, as well, I think a lot of kind of, you know, investors are like big opportunists. You know, they don't like to kind of, you know, save something. For example, like if the investors were really interested in a kind of company like VShojo, they should have just invested in it whenever, you know, Gunrun was losing a ton of money. Now, obviously, you don't have the additional baggage of the debt and everything like that that Gunrun had. And obviously, that's probably why a lot of investors didn't invest. But at the same time, you know, they are opportunists to the point where they were probably watching what VShojo were doing and how it was going forwards so that then they could swoop in and offer deals to try and, you know, get them to join them instead. And obviously, debt-free instead of, you know, obviously carrying all of these stuff from VShojo, which is very interesting. And obviously a lot of people saying, it down here as well in the VShojo subreddit, saying if investors really wanted to help, they probably could have saved the company before when Gunrun was trying to secure funding. Reality is they're just opportunists. It's too late now. The Tans are better off creating an independent group. It said, I wouldn't say throw off any investors. I believe Mata mentioned in the video that she's been learning about investing because of something that she may be considered in the future. But the ones courting her and the other girls are definitely looking to enter into the VTubing business, and that in and out of itself sounds like the worst decision. I do feel that a lot of them have grown wiser, but many of the younger ones, mostly Henya and the Nova girls, might latch on to the idea out of a sense of security. I don't feel like making indie shoujo might be a good idea in order to get this sense of security of promoting opportunities, though it is a shame since there are a couple of ex-corpos that could have gotten some nice help from a structure what we thought VShojo was. But there's a lot of power to be held by strong independents like Mousy, exercising the muscle without the need of others. That if anything, the only reason I'd support an informal group is for them all to be reunited for a collab song like April Fool's or Halloween. But other than that, not so much. I do think obviously an unofficial group would be actually a good idea. I think that obviously having a group is a good idea. Having an agency, not so much of a good idea. I feel like having a group that doesn't take much kind of investment or anything, or if any investment, just a kind of group where, they still interact with each other and they all kind of, do the same thing, except there's no like massive baggage of payments or things like that behind it. I don't think that could be the worst idea, but I do think obviously an agency run exactly how VShojo was and, based on a lot of kind of profits and things like that, probably would not be a good idea at all, and I don't think a lot of the VTubers wouldn't even want to get involved with that in the first place, and that is also another issue, Would the VTubers, after everything that has happened to them with VShojo, would they even want to get involved with something like this? Probably not. I think probably some of them want to just kind of live out doing indie VTubing for a little bit, because again, obviously the situation was so, I guess, traumatic, as a whole. That you would, you probably wouldn't want to go back to a kind of setting like that, at least for a little while. So I can understand why a lot of the members, or the ex-members, sorry, wouldn't want to kind of join anything like this for now, because again, obviously it can, provide some problems in the future. And obviously as well, I think a lot of the VTubers that have obviously gone on to be indie, like Mouse and even more, not just Mouse, but so many other, most of the VShojo talent have been doing great, if not better, with their kind of, after they separated from VShojo. I think that honestly, they can still make it as an indie and still interact with many of the members as an indie. I don't think you need a group there to actually, force them to kind of interact with each other. I think at the same time, you could just be an indie and interact with the people that they want to interact with. There's been so many different collaborations recently that you can kind of see that already. For example, I was watching like the Canvas event, right, with Sea-Dog. There's people like ironmouse, Henya was on there. There's so many VShojo members on there, or ex-VShojo members on there, right, that they were all interacting with each other again. And also you got some of the old members too. For example, like Nianas was on there as well. And also it allows other people, for example, like Aethel, to get involved, who obviously wasn't a part of VShojo or anything. But, obviously he can now get involved with a lot more of their, stuff as well. And obviously he's extremely funny. So that provides a massive benefit to them as well. So honestly, I do think at the end of the day, it is actually, it's a pretty good thing that they are sticking to indie for now. Obviously, as well, they say Mayo invest into Gunrun, spending eternity behind bars. Obviously, yeah, a lot of people want to see Gunrun behind bars, which, yeah, I do agree with. He definitely does deserve some kind of, action taken against him for, whatever, all of the stuff that he's done with VShojo, just like through legally, I mean, obviously through like, obviously throwing him in jail, fining him, whatever. Again, obviously, I believe some action needs to be taken in that kind of form. But yeah, obviously, that is an update on the VShojo situation. I thought it's very interesting just to see this because again, obviously it seems like, some investors are very interested in starting this up. Will something happen soon? Maybe, something could happen and maybe some investors could get through to maybe another VTuber about this. But again, for now, it seems like they have no plans on doing anything, but it does seem like there is some interest and some offers coming out to people like Matara. But yeah, that's about all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameStop, use my code CASA, get 10% off. Again, they got a ton of really cool stuff over there. I definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, I'll see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.